This video is going to show how you can use Python with AccessData's Forensic Toolkit to build a timeline and a history for user logins based on the event logs. Okay, so since Windows 8.1, which includes also Windows 10, the Security Accounts Manager in the registry, or SAM registry file, no longer tracks the login history if the user is using a live logon system, which Microsoft now offers. If it's a local account, you will still be able to get the number of logons and the last login time. If they are using the live system, we need to look at the event logs, which still tracks the login activity. However, while FTK allows a user or an investigator or whatever to filter by logon type, and then you could use that filter to look at the date and times and all that stuff, that becomes labor intensive, especially putting everything in chronological order and getting the information that you want in a clear and concise format. So what I've done is I've written a Python script which will allow the investigator or user or analyst, whatever the case may be, to run it against FTK output and build a clear report of login activity on the system. So right here we have AccessData's Forensic Toolkit 6.2.1, but it will work with any version which has the ability to expand compound files, specifically event logs. So what we have here is we do have the event logs from a system, and we have already run expansion options, which will break them out into the files that we can see here from the overview tab, and we can see each individual event listed here. We have approximately 52,000 events, so it can generate a lot. What we can do then is check all. This would take a few seconds. We're not going to do it, it's already been done. And then we can export all these out to a directory, which will allow us to run Python against each one of these individual events, pulling information out that we care about. Okay. Now, if we wanted to take a look, we could go to Documents, Python. This is just where I exported it, Data, and we see multi-user events exported here, and we can see all the various files. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll open up a command prompt, or in this case, a PowerShell. Once we have our PowerShell opened up, we can go ahead and run our Python script. So what we will do is we will specify python.exe. This activates Python in our path statement, and then we will specify the name of our script, event-based login.py. Now we'll take a look at the help menu so we can get an idea of the structure of our script. So we'll hit -H, which pops out the help menu for the script. So right up the bat, we have positional arguments. We need an input and an output directory. So the input is where our FTK event files are located that we've exported out of FTK. And the output is where we're going to send our reports, because this script will create some reports for us if it finds appropriate files. -L, we can specify specific logon types to scan for. By default, it will scan for number 7 or password unlock, a user password unlock. If you want to scan for other types, you will need to specify those numbers in the option. Capital L will return all the logon types. Okay, we'll take a look at these, but it creates kind of a messy output, but we'll see what it puts out and how the system tracks all these logon types. -C will allow the user to specify a case name within the report, again, just for clarity and reporting. If you want to change the output file name of the reports, you can do -F, and then -S will save out the relevant event files out of our input directory. This is so you don't have to go back and hunt through the directory looking for the specific files, that contain the information within your report. Okay. And -U will create a report for each individual user that it finds on the machine. Okay, so we have our help menu there. So now what we can do is do python.exe, and we'll call our script. Now we need to put in our input directory. Okay, we need to point it at this. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy this. And put it in there. And then we need to specify the output directory of Python output. Okay, that's on the C drive. That's where we're going to put it. We'll go ahead and give it a case name so we can take a look at that. We'll put that in quotes. Okay, it's just smart to put this in quotes. So we'll say demo for video. We could put our name in there as well, and then something, whatever you wanted, cybercrimes or whatever. Once we have those, even case is optional, but as long as we have the input and output, we can go ahead and run it. It will scan through all 52,000 event files or files within the directory that you specified. Any files that are not event logs, it will print out saying, hey, this is not an event log, cannot scan, but it will just skip over them. Now, this output, you can't really read what file it's on. That's less important. This is just to show the user that the script is running and that progress is being made. If you didn't have this here, then it would just be this black line and you'd just be sitting there waiting, wondering if it ran or not. So we'll wait for it to finish. There is 52,000 files, so it may take a few here to complete. Once the scan is complete, we can go to our output directory and check out the reports that it generated. So we sent that to our C drive, Python output, and it creates this output directory here. Windows log in with the date and time appended. The date and time appended so that you can know when you ran it very easily, and also to prevent collisions for running them, say, multiple times in a row. This will allow you to save all of your previous runs. We can open that up and we have two reports here, logondetails.csv and logondetails.html. They contain the same information, however, one's in pretty mode and the other one's in more of a traditional output. So first of all, we'll look at logondetails.html. What we can see here is our case name at the top within our case details. We can see the report date and time for which it was ran. Okay. Then the computer name is pulled from the event logs that it scanned. Okay. And then the users that it pulled out and their RID. The RID is the last four digits of the SID. So 1001, 1003, and 1002. And this is populated typically in the order that it encounters it in the event logs. We have a total logon count for the system for all three of these users combined. And then we can break it down as well, log in by user. So we can see that Isaac Not Newton at gmail.com logged in 12 times, Thinky Dies But Nah 2 times, and Soap Dies in 3 times. We can see that we scanned for password unlocked, which is type 7. Again, that is the default. And on this run, we did not save out the relevant event files. The logon, logoff details will record in chronological order from oldest to newest the logins, logouts, and power cycles, including restarts and power offs. So due to the data set that I created, we have actually these 3 entries here, which are part of the Windows operating system installation process. So that's why we start off with a restart logoff with this default user here, because it's part of the Windows system. But then we have a login by Isaac Not Newton, and then they log off, log on, log off, and we can scan through and see restarts here. This was a planned restart. Notice because it recorded as a patch or something of that nature. Okay. And we can see Thinky Dies But Nah logged on and then logged off, and then Soap Dies in 3 logged on. Then there was a restart, again, planned one, and then a log off as well, probably associated with the restart. So we can see just a nice, pretty output here, and we'll show how we can bring that back into FTK for reporting and whatever here in a few. Now we also have some CSV output. We don't want to rename it, we want to open it. We can go ahead and expand out the columns. We see the same information, just in CSV format, the logon type that we got, the description for the event that happened, the user SID, the user name. We can see the RIDs here at the back. Now notice that the event date column looks a little weird. This is a quote unquote feature of Microsoft Excel. Even though it is a CSV, it's applying some weird formatting to the columns. So what we need to do is figure that out, right? So we're going to highlight the column, right click on it, format cells. Now you could do custom to build a custom time date output, which is what I'd recommend. But for the purposes of this video, we will just select date and come down and grab one which contains the information that we care about. Notice this is not in chronological order. So what we're going to do is select one of our column headers. It doesn't matter which one. Go up to data, just tap the filter button, and then we can select oldest to newest. And we have the same order that we would see in our HTML. You can go ahead and save that, and it's all formatted up just the way you want it. You can then use these drop downs to filter to information, times, and events that you would like to look at specifically. Okay, for our purposes, we don't need to save. Now that is just a default run, no options added. So what we can do is we can just hit up, and let's go ahead and add some of the options to illustrate what else the script can do. So for this one, we'll go ahead and do -s, and we'll do -u. This will save out the event logs that we care about, and it will also create a report for each individual user. So we'll go ahead and run that. It will scan through and generate another directory with some reports in there based on the event logs that we've scanned. So the scan is complete. We can come back. Notice that it has created another directory with the date and time based on the local machine. Open it up. We have our logon details.csv, logon details.html. These are what we expected, but we also have per user reports. So if we were to look at thinkydiesbutnot@gmail.com, we can see he has a login count of 2. We did just scan the default. We did save his event files out, and we can see in chronological order his logon and logoff details, including power cycles. Okay, same with soap. All right, and Isaac. All right. Now, logon details and CSV and HTML, they don't change. We can look in saved events, and here's all the relevant event logs that generate the information that we have. So those could be then appended or attached to your report in whatever way you want it. Now, we have -s and -u. We don't need those anymore. What we'll do is we'll do -l, and we'll specify, say we'll go 4, 7, and 11. So we'll scan for those logon types to return, because maybe there's some remote users or there's something else that we care about other than just password unlock, because there's multiple things that can be logged into other than just password unlock by the user. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Once the scan completes, we can go back, open up the directory. We have logon details. Notice now we still have the same users, but we have considerably more because we've added scheduled task logon by 4 and cached interactive at 11. Okay, and now those will also be included in our report, both in the HTML version and in the CSV. And notice we took off the -s flag, so the event files are not saved out, and they're not exported here either. The last option that we'll demo is capital L. And remember, this is all file types, or all logon types, I should say, will be returned in the report. And we'll just see about how messy this is. but it may serve some purpose somewhere, so it is included as an option. We'll get back into Python output. Scan complete. We can open up this last one. We can look at logon details, and we can see quite a bit of different users on the system. Now, many of these are system users or virtual users to run various processes. So as these virtual users or system users log on to perform their process, they are registered as the user, and so the script picks it up. We can then see how many logon counts. So the system logged on 316 of the 419 times, and we can break it down throughout here. Notice that it's considerably longer now with the logons and logoffs of each user, including system. Also notice that some of these systems record the machine in different ways, whether it's just a dash because it's an empty field, the desktop name that we're familiar with, or also win, and then this unique identifier. So we see here all logon types scanned, and so that is also an option, although less clear about your user activity because you're grabbing a lot of different things. Okay. So once you have created your reports, you can always bring them back into FTK to keep it into one place and usable area. So you can go ahead and create an empty bookmark. We can call this Python, based or whatever, I don't know, event logs, login history or something like that. Hit OK. And come into it. Notice that it's empty. We go and we attach a file. We navigate to our C drive. Python output. We'll just take our first one and bring that in, hit open, and we can select it. And we can see here in the output that's super tiny. If we can open that up a little bit. We can see our report in here, and it can be viewed and whatever. Okay, so that is how we can get a timeline of logins if the user is using the live logon system available in Windows 8.1 or Windows 10 using Python and AccessData's Forensic Toolkit.